edit. So once you see, that's recording now.
Oh, okay.
So no pressure.
Okay.
And this one is when it says we're live, we're going to start.
Okay.
So that audio on that one's going to be not as good, and this one we're live already. Hi guys, I'm Alex, the real estate dude, and this is Working Alaska episode, I want to say 6, I don't remember. Where we're building context around the Alaskan entrepreneurs like Theresa Taylor. She is, what is it an owner? Is it you run a team for Road & Fields?
Both. Oh,
Hey!
Oh no.
Careful.
Do you think that ruined the?
No, totally
Okay.
fine.
No throwing the ball.
She did a beauty pageant. She is a working mom, which that's why we got kids here, and it's amazing. And she's just awesome. So we're gonna get into her story. We're gonna get into what she does as far as businesses, and we're gonna talk about how she spreads the word on whether she's trying to sell products or get word out, how she actually does that. Ready?
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
So like I said, we're gonna start day 1. Where were you from? Where'd you go to school? Where's this story start?
Okay. Well, so first of all, let me just say thank you for this opportunity, and this is really cool. And my kids are 3 and almost 5, so you'll be hearing them playing in the background. This is life for us.
Perfect.
So I was actually I wasn't born in Alaska, but I came here when I was 2. So
Okay.
I've been raised here.
Where were you actually born?
I was born in Illinois, in a little town called Belleville, Illinois.
Okay.
And came here when I was 2. Came here because my parents were in the military.
Okay.
And so military brought us here and kept us here. My husband is also born. He's born and raised here. But I went to high school. Okay. Come here. So you get to meet Aya. Okay, remember what I talked about. You can have fun, but you can't get too wild.
Can you say hi?
No.
No.
So Aya is 3. So I was raised here, and I went to elementary school here in Eagle River, and high school. I went to Chigac High School. I attended UAA, and I actually attended UAA and got a bachelor's in education. So I taught for the Anchorage School District for 10 years before becoming a stay-at-home mom, and that kind of led me to where I'm at today.
Yeah. Stay-at-home mom, but a very much so working mom too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to show the camera? What you got there? What is that?
Donald Duck.
That Donald Duck.
Good job. Go keep covering, okay? You can show us when you're done.
Okay, so elementary school here, high school here. What branch of the military?
Air Force.
Okay, I'm gonna judge you just a little bit, but because I
Okay.
was in the army, it's fine though. Whatever your choice. You didn't do any time in the military,
No,
did
I
you?
didn't,
Okay. So you did elementary school, Eagle River, high school, Chugiak. Then you got right into teaching. Like you went straight to UA education. What did you teach in school?
So I taught. I have a unique teaching career. So the very first
Perfect.
class that I taught was it was a multi-age class. It was supposed to be 2nd and 3rd graders, but it turned out to be kindergarten through 4th graders. But
That's
I
a
only
spread.
I only had about 20 students in my class, so it was a smaller class. But I'm thankful that it was my very first year teaching because I was very creative, and I didn't know much, so I just pulled all my resources, and it was perfect for a first-year teacher.
As you would have to, and that from kindergarten, that's
It's
only
huge.
4 or 5 years of school, but that just like mentality-wise in a kid,
so huge,
crazy.
so much organization, and yeah. But after that, I actually after that class, I decided I wasn't going to teach again for a couple years, so I got into real estate.
So you taught 1 year, and you were like, nope.
Yep.
And then you got into real estate.
Yeah, that school was, the school doesn't exist anymore. So thankfully it had some issues, but it was a great, it had its good things about it.
Right.
But so I took a hiatus for 2 years and did real estate and really loved that, but wanted to get back into teaching.
So a question that I was going to ask you, so I'm glad you brought this up. What got you into real estate? Was it like an opportunity? Was it because you were like wanting to own your own business and it was the first opportunity or outlet to do that? Like, why real estate?
I'm not really sure why. I don't know, but it's interesting looking back at it because it was definitely the first time in my life where I realized I had some sort of entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay.
So I don't think I realized I had that until I don't even know how it came up. It just did. And I took the real estate exam and passed it and got in, and Yeah.
I feel like real estate's one of those industries where that happens because it's like, I want to try something, and it's like, oh, real estate is a 40-hour block and a test. I could do that. And like a month later, you're like, I'm a realtor.
Oh my gosh, but people think it's so much easier than it is. That is a job that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you got into real estate and you didn't like it, or you decided you want to get back into teaching?
I did like it. I did really like it, but I was missing the kids.
Okay.
So, and over the years, I've realized that I really do like kids. So that's a part of my story too.
Okay.
When I was in high school, hey girl, can you take this over there, please? When I was in high school, I volunteered at several places. I used to volunteer at a preschool. I volunteered at Eagle River Elementary and tutored kids. So it's, even since I was little, like in 4th grade, when people asked me what I was going to be, I just said a teacher.
Okay.
And I never really thought anything else. It was just like what I knew what I was going to do.
And so now we're going to jump ahead and then jump back. You're really in a position where you get the best of all worlds.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you get your own kids. Like, what better than that? And you get to do the business that you're doing, which I'm super interested in getting into, but we're not going to get there yet. So we went to real estate. Now, where do we go back to after that? Is it back into school?
Back to teaching.
Okay.
Back to teaching. And so then I got into a school where I was in 5th grade, then 3rd grade, and then I moved out here to Eagle River to a charter school out here, Eagle Academy. It's a nice plug there.
The other years is Anchorage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I taught out here for 5 years in 4th grade.
Okay.
And loved it. But then I got pregnant, and we knew, my husband and I knew that we wanted me to be able to stay home, and so I got to. And that's kind of what led me to here. Are you okay with me sharing that part? Or do you want to wait?
No, go.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So we had Micah, and things were great. Things were wonderful. And then over time, we had our second child,
right.
And things started getting really, really tight financially because we were just living off of one paycheck.
Okay.
And
so you were a stay-at-home mom at that point? Or
yes, I was a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, until about 2 years. It was right. I was almost about a year old when I started with my current business, and really I was just looking for something to be able to keep me home and pay for the bills.
Okay.
My family went through. My extended family went through a little bit of financial hardship, and when that happened, my husband and I realized that if anything happened to our family or our friends and they needed our financial help, we wouldn't be able to help them.
Right.
So we were living literally paycheck to paycheck, and we knew like that was the turning moment for us. That was the point where we knew that something had to change.
Okay.
And so we started looking, and I never in a million years would have ever thought that I would be where I am now, doing what I'm doing, but it fell into my lap.
So you started looking, and what were the considerations? Was it like, I want to go back to school maybe? Was it go back into real estate? Was it like, what were you thinking?
Our thoughts were anything that could keep me here, because we knew that this was where I needed to be, at least during this time period with our young children. And I'd already pretty much given up teaching. I mean, I would have had to go through the whole interview process again, but no, I was thinking more along the lines, what could I make and sell with the kids? How could I incorporate them? Who could I tutor? What would that look like? Yes, buddy.
Can I go play outside?
I'm gonna say no right now, because if anything happened to you, I'm in the interview and I won't be able to come get you. So like if you were riding your bike and you fell, okay?
I went fry.
Fry?
But I don't cry anymore.
Oh, cry. Not quite yet. Wait a little bit longer, okay? Thank you.
But Ryan and Garrett are coming.
I know, and you can go out after we're done, okay? I promise.
And when thank you, Mommy.
You're
That's
welcome.
So
good boy.
before we keep going, you did teaching for a little bit, but you also got a degree for teaching, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
2 year, 4 year.
4 years. Yeah, it took me 4 years.
So when you were making the decision, was it hard to break off of that? So the reason why I'm asking this question is because a lot of people go and like whatever the degree is, arts or history or teaching or whatever, then they feel like, I put all this time into this.
Yeah.
Now I have to do this,
Yeah.
right? So was it hard for you to say like, no? Like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna try something else.
No, it wasn't hard for me at all, actually. I feel like I'd already let go of that part of my life. Not
Okay.
that I didn't think I would ever consider going back, but yeah, I definitely was okay with letting that go. And something that I found out was I had mentioned that I love kids, but it wasn't, put that down, but it wasn't the love of kids that kept me in teaching. It was the teaching.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that I'm passionate about now. So in my career now, I'm still teaching, but I'm doing it with a totally different group of people.
Right.
It's adults, and it's
Okay.
women primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into that. Keep
Yeah,
going with
absolutely.
it. What are you doing now? What specific part are you talking about? Is that the Road and Fields business coaching, that kind of
Yes,
thing? Or?
yes.
Okay, so what is that?
Okay, so I am a goals and business coach, and I am also a skincare consultant with Rodan & Fields.
Okay.
And not a lot of people know this, but Rodan & Fields was created by the same doctors who created Proactive.
Okay.
So it's a very unique position or company to even be involved with, because it is a social commerce type business. So it's word of mouth advertising.
Right.
Anybody could be a part of it. But the fact that we have these world-renowned dermatologists to stand behind, and we get so much free publicity in the press. It's really a phenomenal opportunity, and you can work it in little increments throughout your day. So for a busy stay-at-home mom, or somebody who even works 60 hours a week, it's easy to find some time to plug in.
So you do the skin consulting
Yeah, Micah, take that over there, honey. Thanks.
and business coaching?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's rewind for just a
Okay,
minute,
okay.
because part of my story too. So I found this business because we wanted something to help us financially, but also, and I know a lot of moms can relate to this, but especially when you've been working. So when you've been working, you're a career lady, and then all of a sudden you have kids, your life changes. Like your whole identity is taken from you.
Right.
I mean, sure, you're still there a little bit, but you don't get to do all the things that you used to do.
Right.
And when I became a stay-at-home mom, hugest blessing in the world. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I wish I could do that. But at the same time, there's a piece of you that's missing. And I didn't realize that I was sort of going through this depression. I didn't realize I was in a depression until I was out of it. And I came out of it when I found this opportunity, because suddenly there was a part of me that was being fulfilled. And it was that part of me that I missed when I was working. So that fulfilled that part of me. And then the more that I started reaching out to people and sharing, the whole business side opened up. And I realized that women need women to mentor each other, not just in business, but all in life.
Right.
So I kind of started a little bit of a life coaching program. It's just very, very small. I've only done like one big class.
Okay.
But that's something on the horizon that I'm working towards.
Okay.
So in the meantime, I do some life coaching, and I also do business coaching. My business coaching is helping other women start their businesses with Rodan & Fields.
Okay.
But through that, I mean...
So is it specifically, you kind of hit on it, but specifically going through Rodan & Fields, like working moms trying to get it, or just any woman that wants to start with Rodan & Fields, you're going through and helping them start?
Oh yes, any woman.
In Alaska.
Any woman.
Or
And
anywhere.
any man. But I will just, it's so funny. So men in skincare, they're like closet users. But we do have some really
We wait
huge
till midnight
builders
to put
and-
on the charcoal
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah, you'd be surprised some of the stories that the guys have. But no, really anybody. I think my target audience is people that have been in my shoes. I'm not a young mom. I'm 39. I just turned 39. Hey, good skincare. No, but I help. I mean, I have women on my team that are from all walks of life, that work full time, that have other businesses. I have a few moms that are on my team as well. But really, it's a simple system, and I just help people, and I teach them the things that I've learned. I've been in the business for 2 years now, and
So not very long at all.
not very long at all. But I found some really great success, and so I just enjoy helping people.
Do you think that your teaching career has helped you in the success you're having now with Rodan & Fields and the business coaching?
It's a good question. I don't know that it's my teaching career. I just think it's the mindset that I have.
Okay.
So I have always been somebody that isn't afraid to try new things.
Okay.
And I also have a little bit of that perfectionism
Okay.
and people pleasing that I'm recovering from. You know,
Okay.
I've been learning, but I'm not afraid to try new things, and I'm a constant learner. So I love to teach and help people, but I also learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the best things that we can ever do for ourselves is invest in our own education, no matter what that looks like.
Right.
It could be hiring a coach, it could be listening to YouTube videos,
Yeah.
but I think that's what has set me apart from other people.
Personal growth.
Personal
Okay.
growth. Yeah.
So, you touched on it a little bit, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I kind of want to go backwards a little bit. We've done that a few times, it
Yeah.
feels like. But you talked about how after you had the kids, she's killing that
I
handstand.
know.
After you had the kids, you went through a little bit of like a depression period, like a low point. Do you think that was... Let me preface the question with, I think this could add a lot of value to other moms that are in the same position, right? Because it's not uncommon, right, to go through something like that. And so do you think it was like a financial thing, like you weren't contributing financially to the household anymore? Was it just like you didn't feel as valuable? Like, and obviously, like you're one of the most important positions in the world is that. Like you're taking care of your own kids, right? Super important. But do you think it was because you didn't feel valued like in the community? Like where do you think that depression was coming from? And why did you choose Roden and Fields or starting a business to get out of it?
So what I was going through was all me and my inner worst. It wasn't, you know, when you have another career, it's like you're getting out of the house and you're doing things and there's
You're
things
affecting
about
other
you.
people's lives.
Well, you're affecting other people's lives, but it's also you. It's a part of who you are. Like I taught for 10 years. That was a part of my identity.
Right.
And suddenly that identity was stripped from me and I became a mom and that became my new identity.
Right.
Like I said, it's the best thing in the world. But you know, we go through phases in lives where our identity changes. When we get married, our identity changes. When we start careers, our identity changes. So I really think that is why I was struggling. I tell people all the time, I am a better mom because I work. Not everybody, you know, will agree with that for their own personal life, but for me, I know that I am a much. Hey, too rough, Micah. Too rough. Let's find something else to do. No wrestling right now, okay? Yes, Mom. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
We're not wrestling. We're playing a wrestling game, Mom.
We're playing a wrestling game. Yeah. So that's what I was dealing with. I was just missing that identity, and I needed that. But when I found Rodan and Fields, I didn't actually know that I was struggling in that area.
Okay.
I knew that I would get irritated through the day, or I would have emotions like, oh, it's not fair that my husband gets to, you know, have 20 minutes driving to work and back. You know,
Right.
he gets that alone
That little
time.
bit of freedom.
Yeah, he has things for him, but I didn't have things for me anymore. Everything that I did like doing, even skiing or running, like those things have become different. They're not the same. And so that's what I was dealing with. But it wasn't until I started working that I realized, oh my gosh, like that's what was going on. Because just working an hour a day gave me it just fulfilled me in a way that I was missing. And I realized that that's what was going on.
And it made you a better mom because of it.
Absolutely.
Right? So even though you're like not missing that time, but you're not spending 100% of your time with the kids, now it's, do you know who Gary Vee is?
No.
He's social media, like entrepreneur, like businessman, life coach kind of guy.
I'll check him out.
All the time he says, one thing I apply to almost everything, it's depth versus width. Right? So width meaning like you spend all your hours of the day with the kids versus depth meaning like maybe you spend 1 hour of the day with the kids.
And it's concentrated.
But exactly,
Yeah.
your attention is on them rather than all day and you guys are just watching TV or something like that. And so having that hour away allows you to go deeper, right?
Yeah.
It allows you to be more present and be a better mom in that case.
I love that. That is something that I've been learning. So when people become stay-at-home moms, or just when people become work-from-home moms, because there's work-from-home moms that do work outside the home for a certain amount of time. But anything that you do in the house with the kids, you have to find balance and kind of like a schedule. Like you do have to set those hours. And but I love that because the time that we do spend together, that's more purposeful.
Right.
It's like you can spend even 10 minutes just hugging and talking with them, and then they're fine for the next hour because you've given them, you filled them up. Yeah. So that's cool.
So we talked a lot about your story. We talked about Rodent in the Fields. You also dropped a beauty pageant on me that I wasn't expecting, didn't hear about. So tell me about that.
Okay, so yeah. So this past March I did, or April 13th, I competed in the Mrs. Alaska.
A month ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I competed in the Mrs. Alaska, Mrs. Alaska America pageant.
Okay.
There were 24 women in it. I got runner-up
Okay.
and Mrs. Congeniality, which I was so thrilled with, and then I also got Mrs. Alaska Ambassador, which basically allows me the same opportunities as Mrs. Alaska, except for I don't have to compete at nationals. So I'm pretty happy with
What are those opportunities?
just guest appearances. You know, I have a banner or a sash that I can use to promote my platform, which, let me plug this in.
Go ahead.
I kind of already touched on it. So my platform is called Magnetic Sisterhood.
Okay.
And I do have a group on Facebook that's named that, and we have a group outside of Facebook as well. But basically it's a community of women supporting women, mentoring each other. So the purpose is that, you know, you have your own story in life, I have my own story, and if we just keep it hidden, nobody can learn from it.
Right.
But like there are things in my past that I keep secret, but there's going to be one person I know that I'm going to meet that I can share that part of my story
It's going
with.
to open you. Right.
And that's the purpose of this group, is to allow women the opportunity to meet other people who are going through the same sort of things.
That is 100% what I'm passionate about.
Awesome.
And I think is amazing because it's literally what we're doing here.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
spreading the story so that other business people and other people in Alaska can learn from the story. It's just a more minute, like a more niche market that you're hitting. And that's amazing.
That's awesome.
So is that just Alaskan women? Or is it just women in general, women in business? Just
It's
what do you
just
doing
women
for?
in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a Facebook group so that we can have women from all over the place.
Okay.
But we have locally, we have a monthly dinner together. Usually a
That's
guest
awesome.
speaker comes
Okay.
and shares something. So last month when we had our Micah, when we had our dinner, we had the new Miss for Alaska come and share about really about grief, and she shared her story with that. So
I'm going to ask the question everyone's going to ask.
yeah.
Those dinners, are
Yes.
they free?
No, they're not. They're Dutch. They're Dutch. Maybe one day, like, or a special occasion, you know, like maybe we'll have like an annual something, but no, it's a Dutch treat.
Okay. And you
Micah? No.
said you
Boys
said
are so much rougher than girls.
oh man, he was about to body slam her. Magnetic Sisters on Facebook, that's where they can find and if they're interested in those groups or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can, so it's called Magnetic Sisterhood.
Sisterhood. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like green and orange logo, or sorry, yellow. Yeah, green and orange. Oh my gosh, am I colorblind? It's yellow and black.
Okay. Wow, that was not even close.
Totally wrong. Yeah.
Huh, I just wanted to make sure to hit that plug hard. Make sure we got it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rodent in the Fields, beauty pageant. There was something else in there, wasn't there? What else? Business coaching. We touched on that one. I definitely want to hit those three. Okay, so now we're gonna flip script a little bit unless you have something else to say about your business and stuff like that.
Well, I would like to say, I'm going to say two things. So remind me I have a second thing.
Perfect.
Okay, the first thing is...
I did the same thing. Like, I hold two fingers up.
so you don't forget.
Exactly.
So the first thing is one of the biggest objections that I think people have when I talk to them about business is, especially women, is not having enough time. And I just want to encourage all of you that if you have an entrepreneurial spirit at all, that you know, my hands are like right here. They probably
It's a wide angle lens.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
Okay.
about it.
Anyway, I just want to remind you that if there is something that's really important to you, you're going to make the time for it. So if there is something in your life that you're wanting change for, whether it is like me needing something for yourself, or if there, you know, you have a need for some more money coming in, look into things. You okay?
Careful.
And don't let time be an issue, because there are so many women that have soccer dates and ballet recitals and they work full time, and the list is endless, right? But we really make the time for the things that are important to us. So don't let time be an issue. And then the second thing, go ahead.
Let me expand on that a little bit, and I'm gonna bring up Gary Vee again,
Micah.
because he touches a lot of this, and he even says, like, even be willing to go less to be happy.
Oh, yes.
So if that means you're making money but you're not happy, and you know something that would make you happier, that would make you less money, like, make that jump. Like,
Absolutely.
change your lifestyle to make that jump, because that's what's important.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's money, that's time, that's whatever it is. Definitely jump into that.
Yep. And when you have that more of a positive outlook on life, I think other opportunities to make more money is going to come along as well. So, and then the last little plug is if you go check out my Facebook post, if you're interested in winning a free regimen, there is a contest going on. It's basically super simple. You just take an online skin assessment and do that.
Rodan and Fields regimen.
Rodan and Fields Skin
and
Regimen. It is the #1 skincare brand in North America.
Plugged.
So, yes, it's awesome.
That was the perfect plug to run into the next question that I was going to talk to
okay.
you about, and that is, on the podcast, I like to talk about marketing.
Okay.
Because as I slowly interview more and more businesses, more and more business owners are going to be listening to the podcast. So what I want to do is, I've learned that realtors only learn marketing techniques from other realtors. Restaurants only learn marketing techniques from other restaurants. Photographers, breweries, you know what I mean? And so I want to make the podcast.
Hey guys, you could go do that. You could go do that in the other room or down the hall.
I want to make the podcast broad, so that way I'm a realtor and I'm learning from you. I'm learning from restaurants. A restaurant can learn from you and your Facebook Live techniques and stuff like that. And so my question is, whichever portion you want to focus on, but how do you spread, like, how do you bring in a new Rodan and Fields client? Or
Sure.
how do you bring in a new client to the sister group?
I think, yeah, I got what you're throwing down. Okay, so I think that this could be used in any field, and that is to talk about what you do.
Okay.
Because, people don't know, especially in my particular business, I don't have a building with a sign on it, right? So,
Your building's big enough, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, so if I don't talk about my business, nobody knows that I do it.
Right.
So I think the #1 thing is to be proud of what you do and share that with people. So whether it's, you meet somebody and you're having a conversation, if the moment allows, if they ask you what you do, of course you're going to share it.
Right.
But even if you're in the conversation and you find out that they have a need that that you can help them with, it's important to share that with them. So I think that's the #1 thing. So
let's go a little bit more practical. And so I 100% agree with you. I think what you're touching on there is having confidence in what your business is, right? Like knowing your value proposition, realizing the opportunities that you can give people by spreading the knowledge that you have, and then actually executing on those, right? So even more minute, like, let's say you're not in this store. Let's say you're a working mom and you don't get out that often, but you want to start Rodan and Fields, like you want to start selling as well. Are you, when you started, was it like Facebook and social media?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Was it, okay, so how did you use Facebook and social media? Was it just like organic? Were you running advertisements? How did you utilize?
I've never ran advertisements, like paid for them to be done. When I first started, I didn't know anything, and so I just posted twice a day, before and afters.
Okay.
And thankfully for me, it worked. I got tons of customers right away.
Okay.
But over time, I realized that really just kind of, you're using Facebook or Instagram, whatever, you're using those really to remind people that you're in business.
Right.
So every post that you make does not have to be a before and after in your face.
Right.
It can be like, hey, I'm so glad I get to be home with my kids today, or it's those types of things. And telling stories, I'm sure a lot of you know, telling stories is a really good way to connect with people, whether it's your own story or somebody else's that you've heard. Yeah. So, social media is definitely my number one resource. So, and then if you are a business owner and you're looking for more tips on social media, creating a content group, a group on Facebook is really a smart idea. And so you just base the content up that group, really anything that's interesting to you. Because, I mean, you can do a content-based group off of your own products. Like I can have just a skincare group, which I do have a skincare group, but I also have my Magnetic Sisterhood group, and that's all me. Like that is, you know, that's my passion. And so you create a group what you're passionate about, and you build relationships through that. You don't have to be like, hey, you know, you're in my Magnetic Sisterhood group, let's talk skincare. No, that's awful. But you're creating a relationship, and that relationship is based off of a mutual value.
You're making my heart so happy right now. Because this is exactly like my big dream is I see like my dad, he's gonna hate me for saying this, is the best barbecue guy in Alaska. Like I swear if he started his own barbecue restaurant, 100% it'd be like Moose's Tooth in Alaska.
Do it.
But he's not, right? And so that's just my one example, but there's millions of people out there that they just don't execute on their passion because they don't necessarily know how, whatever. There's a million different reasons. But so having someone like you out there saying like, no, like go, like just talk about it. And really that's what it is starting a Facebook group, because then good spreads good, right? And so if you are like passionate and you're helping people, 100%, like I'm trying to sell houses. If I go and I talk about barbecue, people are going to trust me, and then they're going to come and buy houses from me. Like it's just a big full circle. You just have to start talking about what you like.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right. It's all about relationships. People don't like, know, or trust you if they don't have anything to relate to.
Exactly. And so that's why another thing you hit on was it doesn't always have to be business, right? Like I'm happy to be home with kids, or I went to the Office Trivia pub crawl this weekend in Anchorage. I posted about that. Like just post things and make people relate to you and trust you.
Yeah.
Superman. I can't think of a better way to end this.
Awesome.
So I always end it. There's going to be two things we're going to end it with. First, the more important of the two, and that is give me all your plugs. So like what's your Facebook, what's your Instagram, like what phone number if you want to give that out, website, like where do the people find you to buy Road and Fields, to go to the business coaching or talk about business coaching?
So some of it after we're done with the live, I'll plug some stuff down.
Okay.
I'll plug the links in if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
I'll plug the links down below. But Magnetic Sisterhood is super easy to find. Just plug it into the search bar at Facebook. So Magnetic Sisterhood. There's some questions to answer in there. Just basically, what are you looking for? What kind of mentorship are you feeling like you need? And that helps me to find somebody that can help you in your circumstance. And then my business group. So I have Theresa Taylor, Rodan and Field Skincare.
Okay, straight into the point. I like
straight
it.
into the point. And then my personal page, Theresa Taylor. I think most of my stuff really through there. Oh, and I do have so I have a group for my skincare, which is called Radiant Beauty. It's Radiant Beauty Team R&B.
Okay.
So my team is called Rise and Bloom, and it basically stands for Rise Through the Murk of Life. You know, the stuff that you've been dealing with, and bloom into the amazing creation that God's created you to be. So.
Do you guys play real old school jams in your R&B group?
No, but I thought about it. Yeah.
And so that's just Facebook, you said? Is there an Instagram or a website?
On Instagram, it's just Theresa Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might say Theresa Taylor Alaska, but there's not a whole lot of Theresa Taylors, and just look at my face because I'm there.
Can't miss it. Beauty pageant winner.
That's right.
Okay, so then we're gonna finish up with. I get all my ideas from Gary Vee, but he does the same thing on his podcast where he gives you the opportunity. There's not very many people that see Facebook Live, but between Facebook Live, YouTube, the podcast, what am I missing? Instagram, LinkedIn, there's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like 1,500 people that see this.
Oh, wow.
So if you could ask those 1,500 people one question, or just tell them what's on your mind and ask for feedback on it, anything. It's your 30-second stick to talk to 1,500 people, whatever. That could be like, what's your favorite kind of sandwich? Or it could be like, go follow me on Instagram, like wherever you want to take it. It's your 30 seconds, like talk to the people. No pressure.
Yeah, right? It'd be nice to, you should tell people that beforehand. Nothing really comes to the top of my head except for the idea of fear. In my business, because I am also, I sell great skincare, but I'm also in the recruiting business to help people build their businesses.
Right.
I come across a lot of objections, and so I guess most of those objections that I come across are based on fear. And so my question would be, and I don't know if anybody's going to really respond because fear is such a touchy subject,
Right.
but or maybe you have interacted with people that have dealt with the fear issue of starting something new like this. So my question would be, what is truly holding you back? And I would just really encourage you to be honest with this and answer, because I mean, the people that are going to be responding and might even see your response, they're not going to know you. But if you put your response, somebody else is going to relate to that response. And I think it's always comforting when we know that we're not alone in what we're feeling. So what's holding you back from really getting the things that you feel like you want in life? For us, our ultimate goal is to get my husband to retire early and stay home with us so we can travel. But a fear might have been, I'm afraid that I can't do it. But so why can't you do it? And so I just want to know, what are your fear objections? What would hold you back from something that would benefit your future? And then adding on to that, what do you think would help you? So if it was a sales opportunity, your fear or objection is that you don't know anything about sales. That's very valid. But what could help you overcome that objection? What is it that you feel like you would need in order to get over that, I guess? Does this make sense? I know it's very deep.
so the question is, really, it sounded like, what are you telling yourself that's holding you back?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then you also want to know, what do you think could help yourself get through that?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
many less words.
What are you telling yourself to hold yourself back, and how could you get through that?
Yeah. Perfect.
Theresa Taylor on Facebook. Message her, but if you're really brave, throw it in a comment and just post it on the page. So that way other people can relate to your fear, and hopefully it opens other people up.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Okay. Well, you hit that one and I'll hit this one.
Yes, I don't
the red
really.
one on the
Okay.
top. I always mess this